Last but not least, in terms of the kind of stuff and the topics that I wanted to talk about today. So I probably talk about it quite a lot, but I advertise in something called Freelancer magazine. I have various different magazines there. I have the Freelancer magazine mug, and actually I really love what those guys do. And Sophie and Angela that kind of run that magazine set it up from scratch. Angela, hopefully, will be a guest on the podcast at some point. But one of the things that I was very keen to do is that for a lot of freelancers, so you could be a copywriter, an artist, a management consultant, a DJ, you name it, anyone that kind of works for themselves. It's difficult, it's hard to do that, and often you can be very good at one particular thing. So you might be an expert DJ, but it doesn't mean you've ever been taught how to set up a business, create your strategy so that you're different to everyone else and people book you. How do you do your marketing properly to really connect with an audience? How do you sell to customers? That kind of thing. So one of the reasons, and the reason why I picked Freelancer magazine to be my first kind of paid proper print advertising, and it'll be the 4th issue I've advertised in now. And again, I do double page spreads as well. So actually, I'd go big or go home is my kind of thing. But in our kind of live classroom sessions, we've had some really kind of good breakthroughs on our Tuesday 3 p.m. kind of session. And last week we did basically, it's something called Ikigai. So basically what you're essentially looking to do is that for anyone that runs any business, you ideally want to create something which works around your passions. It's something that you love to do, but actually also pays your bills. So for me, I love using my brain. I love trying to outthink the competition, and that's that side to it. But I also love tech. I love lighting. I love talking to people. So I've kind of built a business around that, and it's got a really big community mission, which to me is really important. But you could love swimming and you want to create a business around that. And what you would essentially do is look at how do we do that. So one of the things I wanted to kind of talk about is that as a freelancer, you often have a passion for a topic, and that's what you want to build your business around and life around, which is fantastic. But the truth is as well, not everyone always makes as much money as you hoped. And it's that balance of, at what point do you give up and get a job again? And it's stuff like that. It's a lot of really kind of nuance to it. So one of the things that we really wanted to look at, and we covered on the live sessions on Tuesday, was going through the Ikigai process, but actually starting to think through things that you could do no matter what your business is to help diversify and grow. And I promise you it works. It was something I wanted to talk about, which is ways to diversify revenue. So in this instance, I'm going to talk about freelancers, but it's essentially, it could be anything. And just give you a super quick run through of the Ikigai kind of process, but also some of the learnings and stuff that came out this week. So the first one, and this is arguably the most important one, what do you actually kind of love doing? That there's no point building a business around something that you're not passionate about and you don't love doing, because I promise you it's so much harder than you think it's going to be. That if you love photography, that's fantastic, but you have to pick something that you really love to do. And then when you go on to create content and talk to people and interact with people, people can tell if you actually care about the product or not. I love doing this. I love working with people, so that's kind of my thing. But it's also really important. But say if you're a copywriter and you love writing, really kind of, what we can do is build a business around that, but really identify the different revenue streams. So next, after you've really kind of listed all of the things that you love doing, as a person as well, especially, list everything that you love to do. So I love to play basketball, I like to run, I love playing on the Xbox, and it's just almost anything that you kind of think of, get it all down. Next is, what does the world need? Because likewise, it doesn't matter if I want to play on the Xbox all day and be a streamer. If I'm not very good at it, but likewise nobody wants to pay me to do it, then it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't be a business. And it's kind of the crucial bit that unfortunately, it doesn't matter if you want to do a meditation retreat for professionals that all pay £1 million a year, if there aren't any customers for it. So that's a really important thing just to kind of consider and keep at the back of your mind. Relating to that, what will people actually pay for? Because you might love chocolate and you might love tea, so you think, well, I'll make a chocolate teapot. But actually, does the world need one of those? Probably not, because it won't work. And would they pay for it? Maybe actually, as a novelty kind of thing. But if you are a copywriter, It's always the classic thing again of actually what do you charge, what will people pay for, and how do you kind of communicate that into a product offering which people will pay you kind of money for. And last but not least, what are you good at? Because likewise, I'm a terrible singer. I am the worst singer you'll ever meet. If I wanted to become a professional singer or to act on the stage of Broadway, it's not going to work. It doesn't matter how much time and effort or how many books that I read. You really have to find all of these different things to really kind of look at it. And one of the things that I wanted to kind of talk about is just some of the learnings that we had this week on Tuesday, just as a great example for how this kind of stuff works. So David, who was on the session, basically he's a copywriter and he's a very, very good one. But in terms of things that he loves, he also loves storytelling. He loves working in the community. He likes using his imagination. He's also an ultra runner. And we listed out these whole huge kind of list of things that really what we can do is start to kind of list areas that he can start to communicate and work on to really almost build a brand around is either running right or whichever. But the point is it's really important to kind of get these things down. Next, what does the world need? That if you are a copywriter, people need copy for websites. There could be loads of different stuff. You could have a story, you could have a blog. You could want to write an advertisement, the script for it. There's 100 million different things that you could kind of do. But one of the things that I wanted to do, and I try and do on the live kind of sessions, is add value from an outside point of view. And one of the big things that's really important with strategy is to really identify new trends and things that people actually might want to need or pay for that you can help with. So Alex Wright, who was on the podcast yesterday, he built his business around helping companies almost embrace mental health in a sensitive but cool way that kind of works. As that becomes more and more important in the workplace, employers kind of know that they need to do something around it. So there's an angle there for him to get in. One of the things that I discussed with David on the session, I do a lot of stuff with investors and bigger kind of companies, and there's something called ESG, which is your environmental and social kind of governance. It's a really big thing that if you want to win a tender in renewables, or you're trying to get into a clean tech business, or even if you're trying to raise money on the stock market, investors are genuinely interested in your ESG policy. What do you do? How does it work? How do you work in the community? How do you reduce your consumption and stuff? The point being, there's a need there that the industry kind of wants and is willing to pay for. And actually someone like a copywriter could be perfect to go into businesses to help them write their ESG policy and actually build it into their branding. But the other side to it as well, a copywriter has to use their imagination often to kind of create a story around the blog or the business, that whatever they want to do. And I made the point, well, actually, why not go into advertising? Advertising is often, it's the next level of storytelling. And what we started to do was actually spiderweb out ways that you could grow and diversify your business. But actually it's all still based on what you love doing, which is storytelling and working with businesses and really kind of using your skills and talents and assets. But the point is, with the kind of whole Ikigai process, you can hopefully, touch some wood, over time build a business that's profitable, that works, you love doing it, gets you excited every day, and that you can gradually build. But it often takes time to really look at that and also embrace the process fully, that if you want to bake cakes and that's what your passion is, don't discount straight away the fact that people, yes, you want to buy a cake, and if you're lucky, you might buy a special cake once a month for a birthday for someone or whichever. But every single day people buy lunch. So actually with your same bakery skills, could you also do special lunches or lunches that are gluten-free or a particular thing? And it's through looking at that and what does the customer want, need and buy. But you can still live your passion to make the world's best cakes, but actually you have to make sure that you've got enough revenue coming in to really kind of make the business work. Does that make sense? So if you kind of catch this up afterwards, please kind of like and subscribe on YouTube and stuff as well. My name's Steve Pugh. I do a lot of business and entrepreneurship and that kind of thing. My day job actually is as a management consultant. So I do this for real companies. I don't just do YouTube. This is just a way for me to kind of do my marketing and kind of promotion. But I'd love it if you like, subscribe and follow as well.